Hey everyone, welcome to class. This is Max again, and this is another strength and stability flow, the ninth one in this series. So whether you've done the 8 previous ones or you're just joining for the first time today, go ahead and find a comfortable seat, join me on the mat, and we'll get started. So I want to just give a quick reminder that yoga is an internal practice. So whether you can do all of the exercises in class today or not makes no difference. What matters is your intention and that you're working towards the goal. So don't get discouraged if this feels a little bit too challenging for you. Just know that your effort is moving you forward on the path. So find a comfortable seat. I'm seated here on my knees. You just find whatever seat's comfortable for you. We'll be here for just a moment to do some breaths and set an intention. So wherever you are, find a nice long spine, lengthening through the back of the neck, maybe gently tucking the chin. If it feels comfortable for you, you can close down the eyes. And we'll start to let go of anything outside of the 4 corners of your mat. Letting go of anything in the past, anything that happened earlier today or earlier this week. Setting that aside for a little moment. Letting go of anything that you are anticipating coming up later today. And we'll just hang out together in the present moment. If it feels comfortable, you can close down the eyes and we'll take 3 deep cleansing breaths through the nose. So exhale everything out. Inhale, filling all the way up through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Once again, inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Last one, biggest breath yet. Sipping a little extra at the top. Open the mouth, sigh it out. You can seal the lips, and we'll continue breathing in and out through the nose for the rest of class. Take a moment to yourself now to set your intention. And then when you're ready, you can gently blink open the eyes and make your way onto your hands and knees for our tabletop position to get us started for a warm-up. So once you're in your tabletop, palms are flat on the mat and your fingers are spread nice and wide. Inhale to arch your back looking up. Exhale to round the spine, maybe looking towards your belly button. Inhale, arching the back, looking up. Exhale, round the spine. Flow through that a few more times. Cat cows on your own. Then find any organic movement. So rolling through the spine, moving the hips, whatever your body needs. Today my back is feeling a little bit stiff, so I'm just getting a little extra movement in my spine. But for you, maybe your shoulder or your wrist or your knee or whatever you need to just loosen up, take care of that now. We'll come back to our neutral tabletop. Bring the hands a little bit closer to the knees and then gently rocking forward and backward for a little bit of a wrist warm up. And then maybe taking some circles on the wrist in one direction. And then switching directions with your circles, going the other way. Let's walk the hands back out to our tabletop. flip the hands around so the palms are still on the mat, but the fingers point back towards the knees. Stretching into our wrists a little bit. You can hang out here for a moment. This one can get pretty intense, so just take it nice and slow. Again, this is a reminder, no pain at all throughout our practice. If you feel pain, back off. A little bit of discomfort is okay, but any sharp pain or pinching in the joint is a sign that you should back off. So with our wrists in this position, you can gently rock side to side, forward and backward. I like to lift the palm, bending the elbow on that side, switching kind of back and forth, rocking side to side. So just notice how this feels in your wrist, stretching through the wrists, and then gently release. We'll bring the back of the hands onto the mat. And again, same thing, gently rock side to side, backward and forward. Just exploring what feels good for you in this position. And then we'll come back to our neutral tabletop. Your shoulders are over your wrist and your hips are over your knees. Engage the core by bringing your belly button to your spine. Try to keep the rest of your body stationary as you lift your right leg behind you, keeping a bend in that right knee. We'll find some hip circles here, so wide circles with that right knee. Again, keeping the core engaged, the body stationary, going as wide as you can comfortably with these circles, and then switching the direction of the circle, so going the other way with that right leg. And then gently placing the knee back down, re-engaging the core, lifting the left leg, and finding some hip circles on the left side. And switching directions. Just warming things up before we pick up the pace a little bit or pick up the difficulty level. Bringing the mind back to the breath. Release that left leg back down. We'll again find our neutral tabletop. Make sure your toes are untucked, so the tops of your toes are down onto the mat. Find strength pushing the floor away, pushing the mat away. Press the toes down, the top of the toes into the mat as you lift your knees up. Engaging the core, lowering down to a hover and lift. Lower to a hover, lift. Lower to a hover, lift. Once more hover and lift. And then gently setting the knees back down. This time let's tuck the toes, so curl the toes under and lift the knees now, so we're hovering in this hovering tabletop position. Again, re-engage the core. Steady breaths through the nose. And this one can get challenging really quickly. So if you need to set the knees down, then that's fine. But see if you can keep that steady breath. All right, from here, the knees are lifted. Let's walk the feet back. Resetting the hands a little bit if you need to. Shifting the weight forward so the shoulders are over the wrist, finding your plank pose. Hang out in plank, breathing through the nose. On an inhale, shift your weight, your shoulders even further forward. And then exhale back to your plank. Inhale here. And exhale, let's push it back into down dog. You can walk the dog, bending one leg as you straighten the other leg. And then let's find some stillness in our down dog for a moment. From here, let's see if we can lower into dolphin by just setting the elbows down. If you need to lower the knees to get into dolphin, then go for it. But just set the elbows down, find your dolphin pose. Your palms are flat on the mat, your forearms are parallel. Lifting that tailbone. And then pushing back up into your down dog, onto your hands. Breathing here. On an inhale, bend your knees, coming high onto your toes. And as you exhale, step your right foot to the outside top of the mat, and then left foot to the left side of the mat. We'll lower down into our Malasana, our yoga squat. You can elevate the heels here. Just find a comfortable squat position for you. Take a moment to breathe here. And then bring the palms down. Let's come down onto the knees. Untuck the toes. Lower your hips down towards your heels. So we're sitting on the heels, on the knees. Let's bring the hands together at heart center. Engage the core. Inhale and exhale. This time as you inhale, lowering back. So trying to keep your core stiff and lower your upper body back, keeping your knees on the floor. And then exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Once more, inhale, lower. Exhale, rise back up. Palms come down onto the mat. We'll find our Malasana, our yoga squat, one more time. Breathing here. And then we'll slowly lower down onto the butt. And we'll lower all the way down onto the back. And we'll do a little core work here. So from this position, your feet are flat on the floor, your knees are bent. See if you can lift your chest, lifting your head. We're gonna keep our chest lifted and our face looking up towards the ceiling. And then lift the knees, lift the feet. So the knees are bent. See if you can lift your tailbone off the ground. So immediately right there, you should feel your core start to engage because your shoulders are lifted, your tailbone's lifted. You can open the palms up towards the ceiling. Straighten the legs as much as you can so you can stay here. If you want a little more challenge, keep your lower back pressed into the mat as you lower your feet down, keeping the legs straight. And just lower to a point where it becomes difficult. You'll feel your core engaging. Breathe here. If you can come all the way down, then go for it. And if you want to even more, you can bring the arms overhead, biceps by the ears. Breathing here. And gently release. We'll rock back up onto the butt. Plant the bottom of the feet flat onto the ground with the knees bent. Hands come behind your hips. Lifting up, squeeze the glutes to lift the hips, finding your reverse tabletop. So squeezing through the glutes, lifting the hips, feeling the stretch in the front of your shoulders and the strength in the back of your body. Gently lower back down. We'll come back up into Malasana. One last time, finding our yoga squat here. And next exhale, you can start to straighten through the legs a bit to find a forward fold. Maybe gently swaying side to side for a moment. And then on an inhale, lift halfway, finding a flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Stepping to the top of the mat, we'll find a little bit of a flow now. So bring your feet about hip width distance apart. Again, we can bring the hands to heart center, our prayer position. There's multiple variations for the hands, so you can lift the arms up. You can have the hands at your side. I'm gonna go with hands at the heart center. Let's lift up onto the toes. Standing nice and tall, then bend the knees to squat down, staying on the toes, and lower down as low as you can. Finding your balance, a little bit of a balance challenge. Once you've come all the way down, let's come about halfway back up. And then we'll find some pulses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rising all the way back up onto the toes, and then gently setting the heels down. Inhale to lift the right leg in front of you, balancing on the left leg. Exhale to step that right leg to the back of the mat, landing on the ball of the foot. Inhale, arms come up, finding your high lunge. Exhale, both hands come down to the mat, stepping the left foot back, flow through your chaturanga push-up for an up dog. Exhaling to find down dog. Once you're set in down dog, lower onto the elbows. We'll find our dolphin position again. Taking a few breaths in dolphin. Push back up onto the hands for your down dog. Inhale to wave it forward for plank. Set the right palm flat onto the mat. Come onto the outside edge of the right foot. Find your side plank. Breathing here. And on an exhale, left palm finds the mat. Come back to plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale into down dog. Walk the feet together. On an inhale, lift the left leg up for three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Hold here, and then gently set the left foot down in between the hands. On an inhale, rising back up, finding our high lunge. Breathing here. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to squeeze the elbows behind the lower back. Lower that back knee so that it's just hovering just above the mat. Inhale to rise up, reaching up. Exhale to lower, hover, squeeze the elbows behind the back. Inhale, rising up, reaching up. Exhale to lower and hover. Inhale, coming back to high lunge. And then on an exhale, right foot meets the left, standing at the top of the mat. Walk the feet back out, hip distance width. Take a moment to reset, slow your breathing down. Come up onto the toes again, finding your balance, and then very slowly staying on the toes to squat all the way down. Once you made it all the way, come back up about halfway and we'll find 5 pulse. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then rise all the way back up, staying on the toes the whole time if you can. Lower the heels down. Shift the weight into the right foot. Inhale to lift the left leg in front of you. And on an exhale, very slowly stepping the left foot to the back of the mat. Inhale to reach the arms up, finding your high lunge. Exhale, lower both palms down. Step the right foot back, find your plank, and lower through your chaturanga push-up. Inhaling for up dog. Exhale for down dog. Once you've found your down dog, lower the elbows again into dolphin. So we're on the elbows. Lifting the tailbone as high as you can. Couple breaths here. And then find your down dog again. Inhale, forward to plank. Set the palm of the left hand down, curl onto the outside of the left foot, and find side plank on the left. On an exhale, right palm comes down, back into our plank. Inhale. And as you exhale, find your down dog. Walk the feet together. Inhale, right leg lifts for three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee comes to your nose, holding here, and then slowly stepping the right foot down in between the hands. Inhale, coming up, finding your high lunge. And as you exhale, lowering that back knee and squeezing the elbows behind your lower back. Inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, hover and squeeze. Inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, hover and squeeze. Once more, inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, hover and squeeze. Inhale, rising back up. And as you exhale, left foot meets the right at the top of the mat. Let's turn towards the side edge of the mat. Stepping to the center. So let's bring the feet together. Keeping the heels together, open the toes out. Now keep the toes where they are and open your heels out. Keep the heels where they are, open the toes out. Keep the toes where they are, open the heels out. Open the toes so that we find parallel with the feet. So we're in a 5-step wide-legged stance. We'll find our horse pose. So squatting down, bending the knees, keeping the hips nice and low. Try to keep the hips as low as your knees. Core is engaged, lift the chest up. Hands can come to heart center. Lowering into our horse stance, breathing here. This is where that mental strength and stability comes in. So again, yoga is that internal practice. We're building that inner fire, that inner discipline by pushing through when things get tough. And if you need to take a rest, then that's fine. Just make sure you're pushing yourself so that you can continue to grow. See if you can keep your breath nice and steady, in and out through the nose. Big inhale. And as you exhale, you can straighten through the legs. We'll bring the feet a little bit wider, pointing the toes in opposite directions. And we'll find our goddess squat. So hands can come back to heart center, but this time the toes are pointed in opposite directions. Let's bring the hands to either knee. Inhale to lift, straightening through the spine. Exhale, right shoulder lowers towards the left knee. Inhale to lift. Exhale, left shoulder to the right knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower the right shoulder. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower the left shoulder. Coming back up into our goddess squat. Lower the hips a little bit lower. Breathing here. Option to lift the heels, coming onto the toes in this position. Just taking a few breaths here. your exhale, lower the heels down and straighten the legs. And we'll step back to the top of the mat. Inhale to reach both arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back into your high plank, and let's hold here. Couple breaths in plank. Inhale to shift your weight forward. Exhale to lower all the way down onto the belly. Once you're all the way down, bring the palms onto the mat underneath the shoulders. Using your back strength, so we're not pushing into the floor, we're just using the strength of our back. Inhale to find a cobra lift, lifting your upper body. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Walk the feet together. Inhale to lift the lower body, squeezing through the glutes, lifting the feet, and then lifting through the upper body, lifting the palms off the mat again, trying to squeeze your elbows together behind your back. Lengthen the back of your neck, finding length in your spine, breathing in this position, so don't hold your breath. And you can stay here in this lift, finding strength through your back, or if you want a little bit more, you can inhale to reach forward, overhead, and exhale to pull back as though you're doing a pull-up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Inhale to lift a little bit higher. Exhale, lowering down onto the belly. Release. You can wiggle through the hips here. Push up onto your hands and knees. Find your variation of child's pose. I like to bring my knees as wide as the mat and my toes together, but just find a version that's comfortable for you. So you can have the knees together if that feels better. Lower your hips towards your heels, walking the hands forward. You can bring your forehead down to the mat if that's comfortable. Again, keeping that breath slow and steady through the nose. You did it. You pushed through a challenging class. And as I have reminded you a few times, yoga is the internal practice. So all of these outer positions that we're moving our body through is really just the container, something to challenge us so that we can work on keeping our mind steady and focused. So again, it doesn't matter if you weren't able to complete everything in the class or if you had difficulty with certain exercises or positions. What matters is your intention, your mental focus, your emphasis on your breath, and really just detaching yourself from the external results of your effort. So I'm going to leave you here to close out your practice. If you want to, you can go ahead and flip onto your back and get into your Shavasana pose, or you can stay in child's pose. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope to see you in future classes. May we open to awareness for the benefit of all beings. Thank you, friends.